everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah Jane from Misunderstood. Now today I'm going to be joined by a lady called Kelly Smith, and she has the group on Facebook called Autism UK. While I'll put the links to her Facebook group below. Now together we are going to be talking about the education system again, which is one of our favourite conversations. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today is the reasons why school became compulsory. Now, before we start talking, I just want to say that anything we say are our own opinions. You can agree or disagree. You have the right. If you disagree, then you can switch off. It's totally up to you. Now, we've always had schools, and I'm not disputing the fact that there shouldn't be schools, but not the system that we have today. I've researched so much about the history of education and also what society was experiencing at the time. In the 1800s, children were part of the workforce. They played a massive part in the success of the first industrial revolution, working in factories or on farms. Now, there were laws called the Factory Acts that were made and changed constantly to stop child exploitation, a bit like today, but they don't always work properly. So why did schools become compulsory? It was because we were just entering the second industrial revolution. In 1869, the politicians expressed a part that mass education was vital to the nation's ability to maintain its lead in the manufacturing world. Now, this carried a considerable amount of weight, and the Elementary Education Act of 1870 was written and passed. It was also known as the Foresters Act. They wanted to pull all the children out of the workforce and send them to school to prepare them for the second industrial revolution. But there were many children that carried on going to work. It was part of the family's income. Now, 10 years later, school became compulsory for children aged between 5 and 10 years old. They had no choice. Government then passed another Factory Act that made it illegal for businesses to employ children. The government now had full control. Now, the government didn't just open schools that you sat at a desk all day and studied academic work. They opened industrial schools that provided training to prepare them for work in shoemaking, tailoring, printing, and other trades, as well as a basic education. That is what the original purpose of our education system was, to prepare children for their future in the evolving world. Our education is outdated and tailored to the 20th century. The factory mass teaching methods of the last educational era have failed to deal with the problems of inequity and unfairness. Students have to make progress at a set rate, which can demotivate and bore many. We are entering into our fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence. What are our children learning from this education system that will help them in the future? Not a lot. Hi.
Hiya.
So hi everyone, this is Kelly Smith from the autistic page on Facebook. So, how did you think of the video?
Yes, very interesting. Have lots of questions. I don't know whether they're more questions or I don't really know. That was what I was going to ask you. Obviously, a lot comes into mind from that just 3 minutes that you've done. A lot of information in a short time, and it makes you think things aren't quite what they appear in life.
No.
And that there seems to be, I can't think how to explain it. What was he saying?
An untoward reason. There's always an ulterior motive.
Yes, exactly. So why did they want schools and why not left to work? You know, why?
Because they wanted the children to, it's the old, you know, like prepare them for the next revolution, the manufacturing revolution that was bringing so much money into Britain. You know, they wanted the children there ready to be groomed into that position.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's always been from start.
Yeah. So kids actually did prefer to work then. They preferred to be busy, and being around their parents and their grandparents, their great-grandparents, where they learn life.
Some of the schools, when they started the mass education, I think that was in about 1840, a bit later than that. That's one of the things they opened the schools. Some of the schools they opened were little small schools that were not family run, but the elders ran them, like your bricklayers or family, and they trained up these small kids. They were little hod carriers to start with. The electricians had them running through the when we got electric, running through the floorboards.
So I suppose that comes with, when you go into like labouring work, you're always the one that does the medial bits at the beginning, and you work your way up. That's natural.
Yeah,
but they're perceived it as child labour.
I mean, it wasn't extreme, but society, I think, towards today was extreme.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think a little bit as well, I suppose. But then the government have come in with too much of an extreme measure.
It's when they actually then came in with and they did it to us. They've done it to us. I mean, you can't work until you're 16, until you've got a national insurance number now.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly what they did to the Factory Act. They made it illegal for the businesses to employ them, which meant all these kids that really wanted to be work, and most of them were your ADHD, hyperactive. If you're academic, you're academic.
Yeah.
But it stopped them allowing these kids that really enjoyed going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have the extreme people going, it's back to child labour. No, it's nothing to do with child labour. Why can't a 16-year-old go to work? Why can't a 14, 15-year-old be working down the market?
We're not free then, are we? We're not bringing up our children freely. We're being governed.
No,
so
completely controlled.
Yeah, I mean, I was 13 years old when I got a job at the post office, £2.50 an hour.
Yeah,
I'd done that off my own back. I was 13. I wanted to earn a bit of money. I then went to college, and I ended up working another job for way less money. That's how
you progress.
Yeah, and I then had respect, and I felt responsible, and I felt I was giving, and that felt right.
They're not allowed. They're not allowed to do anything these days. They're not.
No, it's very controlling when you think about it. No wonder why a lot of children are rebelling, or, well, hate that word, to be honest, because that is a word that they use, but they're just expressing themselves.
They're not. They don't want to be controlled. And if anything's child exploitation or child whatever, it's telling them that they're not allowed to say. They're not allowed to say in what they enjoy to do. Children have always been sit there and don't speak. Sit there until you're spoken to. They've always been controlled.
Yeah.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. At the end of the day, schools have become, I thought schools were really going to turn a bit of a corner a few years ago. I thought that children were going to be treated a bit more individually. And it didn't happen. It was still just, there was no give, or
the thing is, I think
things up a little bit.
The education is still about control. I personally believe it's about, they've got rid of the middle class. You are now a lower class, or you're an upper class, and the education system is putting that divide in there. That if you are not academic, you stay down there. If you're academic, that's off you go to uni.
Yeah. So if the kids didn't fit in, they were excluded and made to feel they were different. So
absolutely,
it was the surroundings that were wrong.
Yeah, of course, always.
Yeah. You can't, once you see it that way, you can't unsee it, can you?
No.
You can't,
I mean, you think we're on our we're going into our fourth industrial revolution. It's an artificial intelligence revolution. What are schools doing to prepare the children?
Nothing.
Nothing.
They've gone. They're gonna end up just being via a computer, aren't they?
Exactly.
Schools
that is your artificial intelligence, I suppose, but they're not. What in school is giving a child the ability to learn anything to do with artificial intelligence? The era that's coming up now. they're doing nothing.
There's so many things that go through my mind that they're appropriate to say, but I don't want to go off topic a little bit. They really spring, like the TikTok videos, the way that they dance is all very robotic, and just things that come into your mind, really.
All these things have been put there to control people, haven't they?
Oh, definitely.
You're doing what I've just put it there for you to do, and you're conforming to what you want.
So much is being taken away. Schools haven't really changed, have they? They're not making anything suitable for other children that need a different surrounding or a different way to learn.
But they're one size fits all. There's one education, and that's it.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got that, then you've got a lot of wastages waiting to.
Yeah, you imagine the kids that sit there in that flight freeze response because they don't know what to do. They've listened and they don't know what to do, and in that moment they're in freeze mode, and they must feel awful.
And they've got to sit there in that freeze mode. Yeah.
Because
then that causes.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No. They have to hold all this in until they get to the end of the day, and then it's released, and the
lid comes off the fizzy bottle, as they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the self-esteem, the anxiety.
That's gone, hasn't it?
I do find I do it. School. Some children can cope with school. Fantastic. If they're loving the social. If my son or whatever would like to go to school just for the social side, but didn't care about the academic, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Exactly.
If they went just for the academic side because they like what they do, I'm fine with that. But when neither fit,
no,
it just, if they're happy and they're showing you they're happy, there's nothing wrong with school. I'm not trying to say, that it's all bad.
No, and the thing is, let's think about what's going on now in schools, all the isolation for these ridiculous things.
Yeah.
I mean, so many are coming up with they're actually not allowed to go to the toilet now.
No, I know this. Yeah, I've I don't want to talk about personal experiences, but that is just wrong because it's part of Mother Nature to go to the toilet. And don't get me wrong, some kids probably may use it, but if they're using it, maybe it's because they're anxious about something.
Or maybe your class is just boring, or notice the information's not going in.
So basically what it comes down to is teachers don't have enough time to unpick things to support the children, do they? They have a classroom of maybe 36 and they're just got to get it out.
Mass education.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Let's get as many as oh God.
And you've got people teaching that may actually not have any interest. So say I decided to teach art, I'd have to be taught that because it's something that doesn't really come from within. But if I wanted to teach baking, it would come from my heart. It would be something I wanted to give.
If you're not an artistic person, why are you being made to go through 5 years at school,
awful,
doing art where it's just it's something's got to change. Something's got to give.
So thinking about it, if they don't want us to be extra good at, say, baking or extra good at making something, that doesn't fit into what they want then with the AI, like you say. That fits more into social skills and living independently without the government.
Which is the reason home economics was put in there in the first place, to give you the to teach you your independent skills.
Yeah,
that's gone.
Yeah,
you've got what I don't know what it's called anymore, like cooking, catering.
Yeah,
but it's you didn't. God, when I was at school, we learned to sew, we learned to cook family dinners. We learned so much.
So the system's changing, but it's benefiting them, not us or our children.
I wouldn't even say it's benefiting them. It's ticking boxes.
Yeah,
it's ticking boxes for government. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's all about
You're
ticking the
right.
right box to get their
Yeah,
statistics up.
a lot of teachers do say it's more about paperwork, don't they, and meetings and
Yeah.
paperwork. So you're right, it is a tick box. And if you don't,
Yeah.
if you can't, you know, tick box systems are the hardest things for me to answer because it's not black and white.
No. But the thing is, the kids are being punished. They're being punished for not ticking their boxes.
Yeah.
And as parents are getting punished with fines.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to force my child to tick a box that you want ticking.
So, yeah, how does fining anybody help anybody? Fines, what? Fines, you know, fine me till you all day long, but that isn't going to change anything except just push me down and make me more
stronger to fight.
Comply and less stronger. Yeah, definitely. They definitely tend to send you chasing your tail around and around when they come up with advice or support send meetings, and they're just a load of rubbish. You end up knowing more than the person that's been trained in it.
Well, they're not exactly trained, are they? They do have minimum. That wasn't against SEN teachers.
No, this is our opinion, and this is just our thoughts and our life stories. That's all it is.
There should be more training, more awareness into different conditions that a teacher is going to come up across, because it's not their fault.
No.
You know, they've done a teaching degree. That's it. They want to go and teach.
Yeah.
That's it, which is fine. Go and teach. Get some kind of, I suppose they've got the mental health in schools now, but really, what do? Come on.
Cover it up with a plaster. No, well, they're only then going to bring in what they're allowed to bring in. You know, if they bring something else to the table, then that's out of the box. Then, you know, not many people are ready to hear certain things anyway. So, I mean, some questions that are so hard to answer, and they're not for you to answer, but for us to debate about. So, what can schools do then? What needs to change? And that's going to be one hell of a question.
Do you know what? I would say it was probably one of the most simplest things to do. Let's get different schoolings going. Did I send you the? Oh, it was all the timelines of all the different types of schools they opened.
Yes.
You know, even etiquette schools. And there was one etiquette school that was actually opened up by these three daughters, the father of these three girls.
Yeah.
That wanted them to act. It was a bit severe, you know.
Yeah.
They wanted them to be able to know how to act in company, how to dress in company, how to, you know. I mean, I think that.
Why not?
Exactly. Yes. I mean, really, they're called social skills today.
Yes.
but we don't have that. We're just
because we're not gathering as a community anymore.
No.
It's gone. It's totally gone. And not many people realise that it's actually anyone can open a school, I believe.
Yes.
And nobody knows that.
I did apply. I got to a certain point, and then it's like, I mean, it's a long process, but they were like, nope, go get your team. If you come back with a team and an idea of what you want, you know, it's possible. Now that could be a school of 10 people.
Yeah, or 5.
10 children out of the education system that we've got, and their mental health improves. Yeah. Because they're enjoying and they're getting an education.
Yeah. So, you know, how would they have to comply though by the government? Would they? So academies don't have they don't have to abide by anything. Academies. So if you started a school, would there still be things you would have to comply with if we did it?
Oh yeah, yeah. You've still got a lot of laws, but the thing is, you put foot. I mean, it sounds like I'm saying it. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You know, but they support you. Yeah. They actually have a support team that helps you bring your idea of a school.
Okay.
I mean, there could be so, but you think of sports schools. How many kids have lost the opportunity, never had the opportunity, you know, to be a great sports player, but they, you know, maybe there isn't a team close by, or they never get to play it in school, or they get an hour a week in school.
Yeah.
You know,
Something's always kind of, a lot of people have said, oh, you know, I didn't think sports days were a good idea because it's too competitive. But I see the flip side to that, because if that child isn't good at English or maths or science and they're good at sport, that's their day to shine at once a year.
Exactly.
For them to say, look, mum, I can do this. Look, friends, I can do this, but I can't do that. So
exactly.
A lot of, I do find that bizarre, you know, and these reward systems and these colour systems, I can't bear them. I don't know if we're going a bit off a track here, I'm not sure. I can't bear.
School system. No. Pen licenses. I mean, imagine all them the people that, the little kids that don't get that pen license and they're going home at the end of year 6, but they go into senior school and have to write with a pen.
Yeah. So what did that achieve?
Exactly. What it achieved is you are this low and these children are that high. That's all it is.
It's horrible. I mean, I didn't enjoy my school life at all. I never really speak about, never have done. I just didn't understand it. I didn't seem to fit in with others. Just whether I was bullied or not bullied, I don't know. Whether I perceived it as bullying or whether they were trying to get the higher ground, I don't know. But I think when you have that feeling inside and you bring up your own children, I try to not let it, you know, go on to them, because it's got to be their experiences. Yeah. But when you're called into the school every day and you have to pick up your kids every lunchtime because they can't cope with lunchtimes and the schools can't even cater a lunchtime routine, it's all they had to do was do a Lego club or a cooking club. Why can't we have, you know, those kids have been contained all day and expected to just go and play.
And they wonder why they're in riot.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I came across my school reports the other day. Oh my God. I mean, I actually felt sorry for the report. You know, it was, the whole lot was, Sarah Jane doesn't concentrate. Sarah Jane could do better. Yeah. Sarah Jane could, whatever. Oh, yeah, obviously there was a concentration problem.
And what do schools always instill when you go to meetings and when you go there? Oh, positive praise, positive praise. I don't see anything positive at all in any of what they do.
No.
It's like a double edge. It's contradicting, if you like.
Oh yeah.
It's massively. Not. Yeah.
They like to portray this, but it doesn't happen.
No.
And there's many parents and children that will say that. If you're not academic, then you're not going to get anywhere.
No. So what about like the ones that are academic? And they go on and learn. I wonder if because I know a lot of people that have done really well at school because it's rigid as what they needed. Maybe they're autistic or another need there. They've gone into then later to work and realised they can't cope with the work.
Yeah.
So I suppose there's the life skill side, isn't it?
How many people years ago used to come out of university, still do, and they don't even get a job in what they've gone to university for. Yeah, because there isn't them jobs.
No.
You know,
so it's
the world's evolving and the education system is staying the same.
So we do need to go backwards, which I've heard a lot over the last 30 years, like, you know, everything like supermarkets needs to go back to your local butchers and your fruits and your, you know, your veg, all local groceries.
It's all become a money-making business.
Yes, it has.
Education is a money-making business. If you think about years ago, before it was compulsory, only the rich people's children went to school because it was paid.
Yeah.
You know, they paid the person that opened that school.
Yeah.
Now the government gives the schools the money to open.
Yeah.
And then they're piling thousands and thousands onto different services.
Yeah.
Because of all these different problems that the education system is causing.
Yeah.
You know,
and
that's
we're
why
not blaming individual teachers. We're not blaming anyone. It's just how it is, unfortunately, and how it goes through the stages. I mean, teachers, you know, it's almost like they rent the chair and the room, and they have to provide all of the stuff the kids need. There's not very, it seems like there's no backup.
And their mental health. It's been put on the teachers now. It's wrong.
It is.
It's wrong.
So if we went back to small, you know, gatherings of children and say, for instance, I taught what I've learned in life, but there's a lot of parents out there that both got to work now because the government have made it that way because it's so expensive to live. They both have to work. So the kids are being brought up by the government, not by the parents.
No.
And then they wonder why the kids struggle. You know, there needs a balance somewhere. It's so hard.
I know.
Very, very difficult. It's quite hard.
Like I say, something's got to be done. I've been saying this for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, definitely. We've all got to start little bit by bit. It's going to take years. I mean, we're not going to see it in our lifetime. I think our kids.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think if there's enough, what have we got now? 60,000 children in the UK, all being homeschooled. Like, where are they? We want to know where they are. We get them back into school.
Yeah.
You know, instead of going.
They put the fear into parents to comply, to give out details. I've had letters and phone, and no. And my children, I'm doing what I see fit at this moment, and that's it.
You'll be in if you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not that far, but
no, it's mind-boggling, the whole thing. But it is about balancing, and I think we all got stuck in this work hard for what? Bricks and mortar used to be bricks and mortar. Now it's like a fashion statement. You know, I don't know. It's not anybody. It's just
we need another revolution.
Yeah, we do.
I know we need a educational revolution.
Yeah, we need everyone to stand up.
Exactly, and not just accept it.
No more.
It's easier for a lot to just accept it, because if they weren't at school being looked after by the government, I can't go to work.
Yeah,
which is how the government has made it.
It has. It's not anyone's fault. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say it's not anyone's fault. It's just how it's become. And unfortunately, I can't help but think there's children are suffering and not quite thriving the way they need to. But and also, if these children get the labels and the autism, the mental health and the bipolar later on in life and this, that, it then becomes another money-making scheme, doesn't it? For the professionals. I mean, I've had like 17 years of hell, basically. So all I see is just pieces of paper with a pen being pushed around it, and nothing ever gets sorted. Or nothing ever changes. All it does is keep people in a job. That's all that I can see. I wish I could see something else, but I can't.
No, I just can't see I can't see a change coming unless we have a complete overhaul of education.
Yeah, well, it is in a way, but it is in a way. The overhaul is coming because of what's happened. It's going to be an online school, isn't it? This is what's going to come.
I mean 100%. I think even down to all this with the pandemic and the shutdown, with the way people are now communicating.
Yes.
For me and you to talk, we'd have had to do an hour and a half in the car to have a meeting, to get things written down, to get things sorted. Although it takes us probably an hour and a half to get this Zoom sorted. Yeah,
but there's always a time and a place for everything. I'm not saying modern technology is bad or this is bad what we're doing, but there has to be. It's always about balance, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always going to come back to, you're right.
Actually, I reckon this revolution, the artificial intelligence revolution, I think it might overhaul the schools.
Yeah,
the way they're run.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean,
something's got to happen.
It has. It's just because I always said, it's always felt like my children had to give. It was always my children that had to comply and give in. It was never them going, no, you know what? No, this needs to be done, because it comes down to money, doesn't it?
It comes down to money, but it also comes back to that. It's a one size fits all. If you're going to do it in my class, they want to do it in my class, and I can't have that. So no, you can't do it in my class.
No. And I suppose there's no continuity between teachers, because my eldest son, he had some fantastic teachers. And if he stood up, went to the window, he was allowed.
Yeah.
If he fiddled with a pen, he was allowed. He was pretty much, the children were told, leave him.
Exactly.
But then in other classrooms, you got the kids going, oh, he's doing that again. And the teacher would then, you know, it's awful, because they weren't being naughty.
They were just yeah. And that teacher was probably having a bad day.
Yeah, but then that's not really fair, is it? But you know, if your kids, I've found it a lot easier home educating. My children are so more level. They're sleeping so much better. The anxiety levels are coming down. They're grounding. They're learning and thriving. They're not just coping.
Exactly.
You know, their little faces in the morning.
No kids can learn if they're in coping mode. Exactly
what I learned about 5 years ago about the anxiety and the freezing, and that's what got me when I read that booklet. That's when I realized that I had to do something for my kids.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah,
it's not easy having two boys at home and trying to work and study and do what I need to do. It's not easy at all. You know, we want people to also, you know, through sort of talking about, it's not depressive, it's trying to get people to know, and people go, it's a bit dark and a bit this, but we've got to hear it.
Yeah.
You know,
not many people know what's really going on.
Yeah, if it stirs in there, that means it's resonating, and they'll learn that they'll have to maybe do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's the start, really.
Yeah. Right, we'll leave it there. I'm sure there'll be many more conversations between the two of us to get the topics, but yeah, it's been great talking, and we need to definitely look into getting like the small schools opened up. You don't have to in a big building. You could have it in a living room of your house.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, if a school is more than 2 people.
Yeah, if you think about it, you've got nurseries in school, but you've also got people that do like childminding nurseries in their home. And so I suppose it's the same.
Someone's got to start it.
We can do it.
We can do it.
Yeah, and get some like-minded people with some ideas to come forward, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, any ideas? Let's put our heads together.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's needed. More ideas, more people together, it can happen.
Yeah, we've got to get talking, you know, debating whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
What we're saying is just what we feel, and there's nothing wrong in saying what you feel and resonate with.
Yeah, yeah. It's your life. You choose it, how you want your children to be educated, and they're not being educated.
No.
You know?
No.
So
it is about choice.
Yeah. Well, I'll be in touch and we'll speak again.
All right then. Take care. Love you, chatting to you.
You
Bye,
too.
best.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.